will definitely save money on it. And yes, I use my credit card. It's not super intimidating. Who cares? I've been planning to do this video for weeks, and I've come to the conclusion that there's two types of people that are going to be watching this video. One, which is most of you, who just want to see what I'm doing to save money, looking for new tips to save money. Maybe you're trying to create a budget, or you have something you're trying to save towards, and you clicked on this video and we're like, that may be something I want to do. And then the second group of people I realize who tend to watch these videos are people who want to judge who want to judge other people's money expertise and like how other people spend money. Not to say that there's anything wrong with that. It just like kind of got me thinking. Trust me, there's a point to this story. The reason why I wanted to hold this off for so long, even as I was getting ready for this video, I was like, oh, like, should I dress a certain way so people take me more seriously? Or the Gen Z middle part versus the side part, like, what are people going to think based on like the background? If I film this in my closet with all my stuff, are people going to think differently of me? As I like went through that whole like process of thinking and what's been holding me back from doing this video, it just kind of made me realize, like, who cares? Anybody, no matter what you look like, where you're from, we all have different tips and tricks on how to manage our own finances, and it's a very personal and vulnerable thing, and I'm just here to share with you guys what's been working for me. And I'm gonna kind of relate this to almost like a skincare routine. What may work for me to get rid of acne and whatever may not work for the next person, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's good or bad. And what the next person does isn't necessarily good or bad. It's just what works for them. So I hope you guys take all this information with a grain of salt, and feel free to completely disagree with me. We don't have to have the same outlook or beliefs on money. It's a very interesting and just huge topic. So yeah, that's all I kind of have to say about that. What works for me may not work for you, and I'm not telling you what to do, and I'm not judging what you are doing to make things work. It's not about that. But I do want to share with you guys some financial lessons I've learned in my 27 years of life. For any of you who just stumbled onto my channel, I want to introduce myself. My name is Rachel. I'm a full-time content creator living in Toronto, Canada. My boyfriend Dylan and I, we live together. We purchased a house recently at the end of last year, and we just moved in. This is my full-time gig. I feel very grateful that I'm able to be doing this. I came from a single parent household. I did not grow up with a lot, but I definitely grew up with what I needed. And I hope that gives you a little bit of background on me. At the same time, I do like nice things. I do like to invest in quality pieces most of the time, and I mainly do fashion content on here. It is really important for me to, when I go on my shopping trips and I decide what to buy, like how much money I'm spending, and do it appropriately and all that. So the first thing I think is really important, and you're going to see this on all these different budgeting blogs and resources and stuff, is have a financial goal, whether that be big or small. And I know a lot of people do create financial goal like vision boards. So whether it's paying off your student loan debt, it is saving up for that purse, a car, whatever it is, have it on a board. So one deterrent of saving money is definitely just not knowing what you're saving it for. Like, I think when you have a more visual goal, it's always easier to get motivated to save your money. For me, if I were to create a virtual vision board right here, Dylan and I just bought a house at the end of last year, and we recently just moved in, and it needs a lot of work. So one thing that obviously we need is brand new windows. I'll insert a picture from Pinterest over here. And then another thing that we want to do is work on our office space and our filming space. It's going to be a huge like business investment for us to do that. So that's something else we want to save money for. And then the third thing I want to save money for personally is an iPad, because I know that's just going to step up the game for my thumbnails. It's something I've always really wanted. I think it's something that is easy. It's not super intimidating, and it can be whatever you want. So the second thing I definitely try to pay attention to is mindful purchasing. Is what I'm buying like a step towards my goal or a step away from my goal? And I know it's not always as black and white as that. Would I rather have this bronzer or this skincare item, or would I rather put that money towards my new iPad? 9 times out of 10, it's towards my new iPad. It's just something to think about. It's just something you don't want to be so impulsive about. have it in your cart for 24 hours. Really kind of hum and haw about it. Doesn't matter how big or how small the purchase is. If you know it's like 100% not something you need, you can let it sit in your cart. It's always going to be there. Number 2 is staying organized. So I'm going to mean this in 2 separate ways. The first way is staying organized of what you own and just having proper organization in and around your space, whether it is your room, your apartment, your house, or whatever. I find that when I'm really mindful of what I have, I'm not so tempted to go out and purchase things. I may see a gray sweater on Aritzia that I really, really love and I think is super cute, but then I realize if I look in my closet, which I actually just like made over and everything, definitely check out that video, you'll see that I actually have so many gray sweaters and I do not really need to add another one to my collection. So if my whole inventory of my closet that I'm talking about right now was a mess, it would be a lot easier to not think about how much I actually already have and really focus on what I want. The next way I like to stay organized and stay on top of my shit is to check my bank account every single day. I check what's going in, what's going out, like every single thing. And I know that sounds really scary. It's actually something when I wasn't as in control of my money, I hated doing. I was always so anxious. I would like put my debit card in. This is like back when I was in high school, and I would be like afraid of what my balance would be afterwards. And I would just like live my life like that, which is no way to live. Even if you'd only have like, I don't know, less than $100 in your bank account, like I know we've all been there. It's so important to know what you have in your bank account, and it may seem really scary at first, but the more you do it, the less intimidating it is and you actually feel a lot more in control. I think one of the worst things to do is put yourself in a situation where you feel totally out of control of your money. There are also a ton of apps. I think there's like Clio and Mint and all these different like financial apps that will tell you how much you're spending throughout the day and send you notifications, and you can definitely do it that way too. Number 3 is credit cards. I mentioned how I'm more actively spending my cash versus putting things on credit in my last video on finance, and I got so many interesting responses, and I didn't realize like how many people are super pro credit card, just because the people I'm around, we tend to like to pay for things in cash because I don't like to personally carry around a lot of consumer debt. Like I said in the beginning of this video, it's totally up to you. I'm just going to share with you guys my opinion on credit cards, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's the right opinion. It's just something that has always worked for me and has got to me where I am right now. And yes, I use my credit card, but I try not to use it for consumer purchases, and I try to really use either my PayPal account or I pay off the balance right away. I'm just sick and tired of trying to like up my credit score and like it'll go down because of a certain amount and whatever, and like there's like a certain amount that you're supposed to keep your balance at, and there's just like all these little rules that no one really tells you, and it's not really, personally, I don't think it's toward our benefit. I think the best thing to do with your credit card is put it on auto pay, and then you'll just build your credit history like that. So example, my phone bill is on my credit card, and then obviously I do have consumer purchases from time to time, but I do tend to pay those off like right away. I think there's just a big misconception that you have to spend a lot of money on your credit card and then pay a bunch of it off at the end of the month to build credit card history, but that's so not true. If you just set it up as if you charge your credit card for your phone bill and then it gets paid at a certain date on auto deposit from your checkings account to your credit card, like you pay it off at a certain time, like that whole system and going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth is going to end up building your credit. I personally know this just from checking my credit score quite often since we had to for a mortgage in our house. Credit scores are just so volatile. It doesn't take a long time to build up a good credit score. I'm just going to be honest with you guys, and you don't need a lot of money to do it. And also, just so you guys know, a credit score isn't a complete reflection of how good you are with your money. Really understand what your credit card benefits are and if something should be going on your credit card versus going on your checkings. This is something that personally works for me, but I know it doesn't work for everybody. I do have a checking account that I do tend to flush out into all these different other accounts once I get paid through that account. So I have one main checking account I get paid through, and then it'll go to all these other accounts and savings and taxes and all these different little things. It's something that has always worked for me, and it gets me a little bit less confused about certain things, but I know whatever's left over in that one main account is what I'm able to use my spending on. And then I'm able to take that main one where I get paid from when a brand pays me or whatever, and then I'll put in 10% here, 5% here, 10% here and a 5% here, and then whatever's left at the top is what I'm able to spend a little bit more frivolously on. I think just from a self-employed standpoint is something I kind of figured out over a long period of time. I don't know if that necessarily will work for someone who has a regular paycheck, but I just want to put it out there. That's how my whole banking system is set up. So one thing I actually do want to talk about, because it's something I do in my daily life, but also I show you guys a lot in videos, is we always think, can we buy something pre-owned? Because usually you will save a lot of money. One thing that I think is really, really great that you can purchase pre-owned if possible, as long as it's safe and proper and all that stuff, is your car. We bought our car pre-owned and it's been great. We don't have any outstanding payments on it. We did it all like one and done. It's something that we had money put aside for when we decided to purchase a new old car. I think purchasing your car pre-owned is something I'm going to be doing for a really long time. It just makes sense for me and our lifestyle, and I just like the idea of having one less payment. You can also apply this to so many different types of things. You can buy pre-owned vintage furniture, pre-owned clothing, all that stuff. We found our car through Auto Trader, I believe. And then in terms of everything else, thrift stores, Facebook Marketplace, Kijiji, Poshmark, Depop, you name it. I think it's really, really good to try to consider at least buying something pre-owned, because you will definitely save money on it. Okay guys, let me know what your best spending, saving money tip. I know this was a little bit all over the place, but I think it's really fun to share these things with you, and it's so important to feel empowered and be in control of our money. This is honestly not talked about enough. Let me know your thoughts and what are your best ways for saving money yourself, because I'm always trying to improve. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye everyone.